Greetings, everybody. I'm glad that we are here gathered today, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I missed you all. We have in front of us Debra Hudson, and she is a creator and interior designer of Smooth Move by Design. And Debra is joining us from Texas, Dallas. How are you, Debra?
I'm wonderful. Good to see you again. I enjoyed seeing you last week. Wonderful.
Yes, it was a great time in Dallas, and I think I had a time of my life. It has a
Mm.
great energy. The state is amazing. Maybe I will move in there. I don't know.
Oh, well, we do it. We do it great in Texas. Everybody knows that.
I agree. I so agree. I felt the energy of it, right energy. So, Deborah, we met with you through the Forbes Riley, right? We went to the same group and we met. And the thing that had gravitated me towards you is the beautiful designs that you were picturing and posting. And I'm like, this is my kind of girl. I wanted to know more about you. And so please tell us, why the design, why did you, chose that path?
Oh, goodness. Well, both of my parents were designers. My father was, he was in display work, and my mother was a designer. And I grew up with a glue gun in my hand. So I went to design school in my late 30s and just loved it. And I have been a high-end residential designer here in Dallas for, quite a while. I love doing it because I get to help other people. They tell me what they want their place to look and feel and function like. And I, as a designer, get to make it happen.
I'm telling you, every time I look into your pictures, I feel so jealous of the people you're designing for, because I'm like, I want to live there. I want to live there. I love it so much. So tell us about your the past. I know you had some kind of painful experiences in the marriage, and you particularly with the one that you found out something that you never knew in your years, that he had this problem.
Unbelievable. My past, I was the youngest of 4 children, and all the other guys in my family were guys. And I was kind of set up in a way to be people pleaser and to just be codependent, because if they told me to do something, I did it. So then in my marriage, I went out, and I've been married a couple of times. I went out and I would always attract someone who emotionally was not available for me. So it was a pattern. It was a horrible pattern. And so my marriage, I came home one day. This was my actual 3rd marriage. I was married when I was 21, married when I was 33, and then married again in my 50s. And I thought this was the marriage that was going to take me to, the pushing the wheelchair. I came home one day and he was in the swimming pool and he was drunk. And I had never seen him drunk ever. We'd been together for about 2.5 years. And it was the worst day of my life. He crawled around the swimming pool. I didn't know what to do. And one thing led to another. And he actually came from his genes had alcoholism in it, but nobody had ever talked about it. And so he had taken a new job as a CEO in a fantastic company. And the pressure was huge. And so he took to the bottle like somebody would take to donuts. And it was horrible. And from the moment that I, confronted him, like, what are you doing? I became the enemy. Alcoholism, they don't want you to know this is what they're doing. And it was the most devastating, because it was a new marriage, and he was a terrific guy, such a wonderful, wonderful, dutiful guy. But he had the gene pool, and I got very sick from the stress, and I tried to fix it for about 8 years, and then I realized spiritually I couldn't fix this. This was something he had to fix. So I got out, and I left without anything. I didn't take any money. I left all his money, that whatever he had coming into the marriage, from his, 401k for his children. And the saddest part is 1.5 years after we got divorced, he died. And it was alcoholism. The coroner said he was eat up with it, and very, very sad. So I had to start over, you know, 1, 2, 3, there I was. And, you know, and so I love, and I got the idea from for Smooth Moves by Design because my clients, they were wonderful, and we had planned their move. But I went to see them one day, and they looked like deer in headlights. They were so, it was too much for them. So over the job that day, I said, no, you go to the lake house, you stay there for days. We will finish this for you. And that's how Smooth Moves by Design began. And the reason why I love it is that we are disrupting an entire industry, the old stodgy industry called moving. Because when you move, you're in overwhelm. You've got too much to do. Kids are underfoot. The dog gets lost. Everything's terrible. It's so stressful. And then you have to hang your art and put your things in your closet. And it's terrible, especially for women. You know, women or moms, they're overwhelmed in a move. So I created this where you don't have to see one box. So
you are my dream woman, Debra. But I am always like so stressed when I move because I want everything to be perfect, you know, unpacking, and I don't let anybody touch my boxes. But if I knew there was like somebody like you, designer, professional, will come and take my ideas, my design views, and make a magic with it. Oh my God, you know, take the stress away from me and everything. But you mentioned something about, you know, when during the story that your husband, your ex-husband, late husband, was so stressed in a high paid, you know, position and job that he started to use his strength and using through the addiction of the alcohol and such. So let me ask you this question. Does the money that we receive from the high paying job worth of our stress?
no, I don't think so.
So like, I know, like I share with through my books and with my speeches, when I speak out, I'm like, you need to find the happy place for you. No money can buy your health. No money can buy your happiness and joy. So I tell everybody, if you want to be, you know, sweep the streets and you will be happy with it, do it. But yeah.
I think we're in a better place today because people are getting more used to talking about fixing their issues. You know, I have an issue with sugar. I mean, if I start to have, you know, a sprinkles cupcake, the next day I'm going to want another one, you know, and it's just, it's an addiction. Sugar is a bad addiction. Everybody knows that. But I think with alcohol or any of our issues, if we can be teachable, and say, I'm so sorry, honey, you know, or whatever, whoever it is, the counselor, and say, I've got to do something about this, and begin to deep dive into the fact that, like my ex, his father was an alcoholic, but he never told anybody because he only did it one time, terrible, showed himself, and he went to his doctor, and the doctor said, oh, you have to stop drinking. He did, and he did. But he never told anybody that was the problem. Never. So nobody knew until I started seeing his son showing up with these horrible issues. And then the young son would say, well, if I ever had that, I'd just quit. Well, with alcoholism, you can't just quit. It either has to be a spiritual way of life. You've got to go to AA. You've got to do counseling. You've got to do something where you fill in that void with something else. And that's what people do, I think, with AA. They go to a lot of meetings because they don't feel so isolated with such a horrible problem, because alcohol is in, look, every time we go to a party or go to a function or whatever, we have a glass of wine or a little Prosecco or something like that. But for people that have the problem, they can't have a little glass of Prosecco. It'll set them on, you know, like me with my sugar addiction. So I don't.
I used to run the rehab center, and the first step of the 12-step program was to recognizing that this is a problem. Until they get to this point where they recognize that, yes, this is a problem, it's disruptive, it, breaks everything down, it's not good for my health, and it's not good for my family. Until they get to this conscious decision that this is exactly what it is, they will not be able to go through the step 2 and the rest of the steps until 12. It's pretty much designed to, actually, it's good and applicable to any Christian, to any believers out there, that it's yes, first admit that you're the sinner, right? And then, realize that you need help, that you need this community, that you need to get better, that you deserve something that is out there for you. So go and reach out to that. So Debra, let me ask you this one. You've met lots of people. You make their dreams come true. I'm telling you, I'm drooling over your pictures when I watch them. So amazing. So if you had to speak right now to this broken woman who, probably is, living with a guy, with a husband who is struggling with the alcoholism, what would you talk to them? What would you say to her right now?
I would tell her to, my battery's going low. I'm sorry. I would tell her to go to Al-Anon as fast as she can. And Al-Anon is for families of alcoholics. And I would tell her to take care of herself. It's not her problem. It is their problem. And you have to have a spiritual awakening for yourself to realize that you've maybe, helped make this problem. You've covered up the problem because you didn't want to be embarrassed. They're shamed to having a husband that's an alcoholic or a wife, And so I would tell them, forget all that. Go to Al-Anon, 12 steps, learn everything you can, and take care of you, because you can get healthy, during this time completely.
Yeah, pretty much like, do not do this alone. There's a help out there and you can reach out. There's always somebody there who will professionally guide them and give them the practical tools that they can be able to hold on. And kind of like, it's good to have somebody, alongside. It's always good to have somebody.
You don't feel alone, and you realize that people have the same issues.
Absolutely. And that's what we share with. That's why, this COVID brought all of us together so we can support one another. We met, Forbes Riley through the COVID, and then I met you. I met so many brilliant people, that has, became a big part of my big family of the IP Resilience Global, and we share the dreams together and we encourage one another. So yes, there is a support there. So